I legit thought that was it was going to be a weird Limp Bizkit sample. I
Just
can't
kidding.
remember the song, um,
Well, it
but
felt
it's
like to me we were riding off into the sunset on a Quentin Tarantino movie at first, until that bass came in there, and I'm like, okay, it's new age Quentin Tarantino.
New Age.
But nobody's
Criteria.
shouting the N word, so
Well,
not quite a Tarantino movie.
not quite, right? Not quite. Yeah, I'll have to find that song. Now I'm gonna have to listen to Limp Bizkit today when I clean the apartment.
I'm sorry.
I like Limp Bizkit. I hated their fans, but as a bass player, their fucking rhythm section is fucking ridiculous, man. John Otto is a fucking beast on drums.
I liked them, but also there were a very large collection of douchebags
Oh,
that were totally into them.
absolutely, absolutely. Their fans killed that band for me back when they were popular. It wasn't until their popularity waned and their dickhead fans backed off, and I happened to hear a cut that I hadn't heard before. It wasn't one of their big radio tunes, and I was like, God damn, this bounces. And so went back and started listening to their shit. And it might have been when Gold Cobra came out, like in 2010 or 2012. And I was like, fuck, they're still around. And the songs weren't too bad. I was like, man, their rhythm section really fucking hits. And started going back and listening to some of their older stuff. So, man, they really were good at what they did. But you're right that their fans were just trash.
Well, you're also one of those people that's like, that it's not cool to like the popular thing. You've got to like this edgy side shit that nobody's ever heard of.
Not, no, not.
You've got a little bit of that in you. You're not
It's the people.
completely that guy.
Yeah, it's not the thing. Like if a TV show is popular or something like that, it's not that I won't watch it because it's popular. Like that doesn't bother me. It's just when I can't fucking escape the people talking about it, I don't want to imbibe in it anymore. Because I was a big fan of The Walking Dead for 6 years, and that shit was everywhere. But I liked it. But it was like Breaking Bad, and I know people love Breaking Bad. Adam loves Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I had to wait to watch it because everyone wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Right, they won't shut the fuck up about it, and it's just like you kind of ruin it for me because it's just all day, every day, and I don't want to like sit down and watch it or listen to it or whatever. And Limp Bizkit was like that. Nirvana was like that for me. I couldn't stand Nirvana because nobody would. It was fucking on the radio. It was MTV. People wouldn't shut the fuck up about grunge. Now I go back and listen to, at least In Utero. Nevermind is still a little for me, but In Utero is a good fucking album. So yeah, it's got good songs on here, So yeah, it's not the thing. It's people ruin life for me a lot is basically what I'm saying. So if it wasn't for people, I think I'd be happier more often.
I was like, I don't want to like spend all day hearing people talk about this thing and then go home and then watch it.
Right.
The whole point is to get away from like everyday life when you're trying to enjoy music or a TV show. Point.
And The Walking Dead made it easy because they just started fucking sucking around season 6 or 7. It was so formulaic and dumb that I couldn't watch anymore. I was like, I just can't bring myself to watch it. And I think they're like final season, and then it was final season part 1, final season part 2,
the finaler season.
No, for real, this is totally the final season. Well, I mean, what's his name? Rick finally just bounced. He was like, yeah, could you just
the finalerist most season.
Finalerist most.
That was the thing about that show. The first season was really unique. It was gut wrenching. It was tough to watch, but it was a completely new angle on the genre. And then they did like the second and third season, and then everything after that was more or less just a repeat with different characters.
Pretty much.
They got to Negan, and then when they got to Negan, they just made it painful to watch. And then after that, all that bullshit, I just checked out.
Yeah, they kind of jumped the shark with the whole Negan. I mean, I know he was brutal, and that was kind of his point. But like you said, they just made it so gut wrenching. I remember telling somebody once that I'm a nihilist, but that show became so bleak around that time that I was like, no, I am not watching something that depresses me. I'm not doing this. I don't want to
Well,
watch something that makes me feel sick to my stomach and depressed. Thanks.
well, it was like there was two sides to that. I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, don't do that. You're going directly into the trap. The trap is right there. Just please don't put your dick in it. Oh my
that
God,
was
they put their dick in it.
that
You
was the
know, it
crux
was,
of that show, right? And that's exactly it. At a certain point, it was just like if one of you would make one good decision one time, this series would be completely over. There'd be
yeah,
no need to make any more
yeah.
episodes.
And then I was like, okay, yeah, fuck this. And then the crazy part is people that I had discussed the show with at that point, they just kept telling me new stuff, and I'm like, that's great for you. I don't watch that shit anymore because it's crap.
Yeah, it got really bad, and I've watched some clips of some of the last few years, and it's gotten very soap opera ish. So I kind of tuned out. And I bought a shirt the other day. I told somebody, well, semi jokingly, I said that I was going to start wearing a bunch of like sci-fi and nerd inspired T-shirts until one of these days I'm somewhere at an event or something, and I find that's how I'm going to find my soulmate is with a T-shirt. Okay, and trust me, it's a valid approach versus anything else that's out there, in my
Dan's
opinion.
approach is valid. Just ask Dan.
Just ask Dan. Dan's awesome. Just ask Dan. Copyright 2022. Um, but I bought a shirt. It's the Serenity. It says Serenity on it, and it's got the Serenity logo from the ship from Firefly, and it's kind of niche, but at the same time, most sci-fi heads have seen Firefly, and the debate is always, or people say, oh, there was only one season, and that's terrible. It was such a great show, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to go on record as saying, and I've said this with several shows, part of me is kind of glad that it ended after one season. Maybe two seasons would have been cool because I have seen so many shows that I have loved just go in the fucking toilet uh, after, what, 3, 4 seasons. Um, Ozark it has been like that for me. It was really good, and it's a limited run, but it's even gotten to the point where it's like, again, if somebody would just do one non-stupid thing, the series would be completely over.
Oh
So,
no, extra conflict. I guess we have another season.
right, and I get it, right? That's the fucking point, but bleh, I don't know.
That's
There
how
was,
Weeds was for me. I was trying to watch Weeds.
I remember it was Showtime, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good, but like after a few seasons, it's like, okay, so the formula is the cops start honing in on you, and then you just move, and then it starts over again. You have to say, oh, got to set up operation in this new town now. Oh no, the
Yeah,
cops are closing in. Let's move
yeah.
again.
It's like the same
And
show over and over and over and
yeah,
over year after year. It just gets you kind of get mad at the writers. Like, come on,
yeah,
guys,
and
you
it's
get
like
paid good money. Come up with something.
we get it. She's hot, but like you could just show a still of her for an hour, I guess. Like it'd be just as entertaining. It's
Smoking a big old fucking doobie.
yeah.
It's Weeds, episode 13, season 400.
We got this new strain of weed called MILF because
Milf.
she's hot.
Oh, you are a walking Family Guy episode.
Fuck, dude, it's so stupid. Like we get it, guys. We got it. She's
What about
hot.
you,
Just
Doug?
end
What
it.
was the show that they ruined for you?
Oh, Jesus Christ. There's so many.
Uh-huh. See?
But The Walking Dead was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, it started out, hey, this is going to be a new thing. This is going to be different. This isn't going to be your standard bullshit. Oh my God. they're repeating themselves like they're caught in a bad stutter loop.
Yeah. And I remember getting excited for the first few, like when they started talking about it. A buddy of mine had read the comics, so he was all excited about it. And then I saw they did a preview during some other show on uh, whatever channel that's on now, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be great, you know. And I do believe too that, like, I watched the last Spider-Man, No Way Home, and I thought it was trash. And you're talking to a guy that's been Amazing Spider-Man and Daredevil were the first two comic books I ever got. Somebody got it as like a throwaway birthday present for me when I was like 7 or 8. You know, it was just this 3-pack of comics. I don't even remember what the third one was, but I remembered Amazing Spider-Man and Daredevil, and I loved both of them. And Spider-Man has always been kind of that kid thing in the back of my brain. Like I love Spider-Man stuff, you know, and love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think he does a phenomenal job. And the first two movies his solo movies were cool. And I was like, okay. And then I was so excited. And then they're like, multiverse and all that. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a cash grab. All right, I see what they're doing here.
Spider-Man goes to space.
Well, yeah, you know,
it's coming.
Well, he kind of already did in one of the Avengers.
I haven't watched him.
Oh, yeah. God. You want to talk about something that's been beaten to death?
The Avengers?
That's one of the reasons why I'm in the fuck Mickey Mouse camp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after what they did to Star Wars, and then they bought Marvel, and I'm like, well, maybe they'll treat it with respect.
Not even,
no,
dude. They greased that bitch up and threw her in the corner and had their way with her. So, all of them.
That's the thing about Disney. Now, the one thing that Disney does terribly well is tie everything together. You know, they make the story flow, they wrap up plot lines, the whole 9 yards, but at the same time, they have to do that. So you will watch a movie and the movie could have been so much more, but they had to work these 13 things in that, you know, wrapped up plot lines from other movies.
Well, look at the Marvel movies. That's a perfect example of that.
And it's just, you know, it got tiring. You know, it's like you could have made a great movie and all the bones and everything else were there, but because you had to shoehorn all this stuff in, I felt it go in. You know what I mean? Like it directly in my butt.
They've perfected the art of edging, is what they've done, right? They fucking jerk you until you're right about there, and then they're like, stay tuned for this summer's blockbuster, so you might actually come.
So you're saying Mickey Mouse is really a dominatrix?
Yeah, it's basically what I'm saying. Fucking Goofy in a gimp mask, you know, kind of thing. It's gonna be my next tattoo, Goofy in a gimp mask. But yeah, I would agree with that. But again, it's all about marketing and human psyche, right? You dangle that. Like I said, it's like edging. Yeah, they just
dangle that cock in front of you,
get you right to the edge, and then they're like, "Nah, you need to watch the other Avengers or other 14 spinoffs." Or they're even they're making some of the Disney Plus stuff canon, from what I can tell. So that, again, you'd have to have Disney Plus to fully understand what's going on. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've got Disney Plus, and I'm not super excited with it. Like, it's I tried watching Loki. I love Hiddleston as Loki. I thought the character was a lot of fun. Tried to watch that show and was like, eh. I've watched a couple of the animated What Ifs because I always liked the comic books. They're okay. I can't stand any of the Boba Fett stuff that they're doing. Now they're doing a Obi-Wan spinoff and all that. And it doesn't feel like they're creating a universe or a fun place for me to go, like Adam said, get away from real life. It just feels like they're pumping me for money. It's like, oh, do you want to know what the fuck's going on? Which, to be fair, that is the point of them existing.
Yeah.
Arg. That's all I got to say about that.
Arg.
Arg, matey.
Hey, man, those were good movies. All right, just saying. Assuming you're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, sure, yes.
Yeah, is
Of
that what you?
course.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, arg. Yeah.
Arg, yes.
Oh, I
Arg.
see. I see a
It's coming
big.
back. It's
Yeah, I
coming
see.
back.
I'm when you like read on Reddit and different social media. Yes, torrenting is absolutely coming back, and it's because there's this fragmentation of content, and everybody has their own content, and you've got to have you got to have Amazon Prime to watch those shows. You got to have Netflix to watch those shows, and even even when it was just Netflix, I was like, okay, they've got some cool stuff. I love Stranger Things and a couple of the other shows they've got. They've got some good content, right? But now everybody, HBO and Paramount now, Paramount Plus is doing their thing. It's if you want to fucking watch anything, you have to have like
Yep.
8 subscriptions at $20 a month. So now you're up around $160 a month
You
just
might as well
in.
just get cable.
Right, exactly, which was the whole point of these, people are like, "Oh, I can just have this and I can just have that." But now people are going, "Yeah, exactly. Well, fuck, I got 13 subscriptions to watch, the shows that I like to watch." And people are
So
turning back to torrenting again.
Netflix has their DVD thing still, and they have a lot of shit on DVD they don't have the rights to give you over streaming.
Oh, you mean like media, like actual DVDs that they
Hmm.
send to your house?
Yeah.
Holy shit, wow.
Yeah, you can add that onto your Netflix, and
I thought
it's
they
like,
finally canceled that. Like,
no, it's still, I think it's actually like coming back into popularity because you could just get a DVD and then rip it and then have it.
That's what I did.
Yeah,
I used
that's,
Handbrake and
yep,
recorded and every
to take the DRM off the fucking disc and then,
it was
yep.
amazing that no one noticed that I'd go through 14 discs in a fucking week because I'd get the 2 or 3, whatever the max was when I was working. I'd come home, I'd run those, send them in, and then that weekend, my ex-wife and I would sit and have fucking movie night and sit and watch them. But I never sold them. I never duplicated them. Um, I never even let people borrow them. I would rip
Yeah.
them and make media, and then I'd watch them typically once, and then they just sit on a fucking hard drive somewhere. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not trying to justify it, but
Yeah, but you could rip them, have a little local Plex server, and then actually have, one source of content and
that's
not have to
basically what I
pay.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I did. I had a server in the basement, and you could run it off any of the TVs. So
Not that I would condone such a thing, but it could be done.
it could be done. And I especially the idea or the concept that I cannot rip my own DVD or CD. And for those that you don't know, it is actually illegal for you to take a CD that you bought and make a digital copy of it, meaning ripping it to your computer so that it's a streaming, so you don't have to have that anymore. That is asinine. Um,
It's acid 10.
it's acid 10, acid 11. My ass goes to 11. My ass goes to 11. Um, that's exactly what I did when I bought CDs and DVDs. Is I would rip them, make them virtual, whatever. I would close the case and I would put the case up, and that DVD never saw the light of day again if it didn't have to, and it didn't get scratched up and marred and eventually damaged like you know all of my other media did. I did not share it. I did not give it to people. I didn't put it up online for people to use or anything like that. It
Yeah.
was just a copy for me, so I didn't accidentally damage the DVD or the CD.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
ripped every CD I ever bought when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, I was a kid and I broke a lot of stuff.
And I may or may not have torrented a thing or two back in the day. I can neither confirm nor deny.
I didn't. I never torrented anything
Someone I might have known or
with the
met.
Pirate Bay and uTorrent. Never did that.
Never, ever. So,
Especially not. Especially not overpriced digital audio workstation software.
Do you know how many, especially rap producers or rap stars, artists, whatever, got their start on pirated software?
All of them.
Right, exactly. Here I am, a young black kid in the ghetto, and I'm supposed to buy a $600 DAW and $300 plugins
Yeah,
and all
fuck
this
that.
stuff to get started to do music that was created on the street corners as a way to entertain, create, whatever, without a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like it's like struggle music. It'd be like charging $80 for fucking chitlins.
There you go, dude.
Like
Exactly.
it's so stupid. But I mean, they got to get their piece. But if you don't have it, you know,
Yeah, you got to wonder what would.
you're
I
not gonna
mean,
get money out of someone who doesn't have the money anyway.
no, they'll find a way around it. And I ain't even hating, because these companies that did get the companies that may have gotten their stuff, ripped, stolen, whatever you want to call it, are still, go look at their profit margins. Just saying, go look at their profit margins. They're
Yeah,
billion-dollar companies.
they're doing fine.
And on top of that, those artists making it, and then later on talking about how they started on Cakewalk or FL Studio, or I'm sorry, Fruity Loops back in the day, etc. They're bumping up. That their FL Studio would be one. I would love to know what FL Studio's net worth is, but I know,
Huh. Let's see.
fucking,
We're sitting in front of a computer.
you're
Let me
right.
take a quick
Probably
view.
40% or more of the people using FL Studio are not using a licensed, paid for version of it. They're just not. So I don't know. I it's kind of like, I was watching something probably on TikTok, because I spend way too much time on there. Uh, and this guy in loss prevention was talking about how if he sees somebody grabbing a can of Similac, and stuffing it in their coat, he's like, dude, we just look the other way. If you're stealing that, or, a box of cereal for your kids or something, I ain't I ain't even interested in knowing about that. And
Image line.
yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I was looking up the FL Studio devs. They have 4 employees and they make $54 million a year
Yeah, yeah,
for
there you
four
go.
employees.
There you go. Right. And don't tell me that the licensing of, whatever C plus software they're using is that much. So sorry there, Hans, Franz, Steve, and Gary. You know, you guys are doing all right. And the young black kid that managed to fucking make it through, to punch through, because it's not like stealing that software suddenly made him popular and famous, that
Yeah,
he had no drive whatsoever. He's like, I'm going to steal this and I'm going to become
and
fucking
now
popular.
instantly famous. Look at
Exactly. Shut up, Doug.
that.
That might be the most intelligent thing that's been said in the last 23 minutes. So, I got a question for you guys. Do you, I know both of you do, but I'm going to ask it because that's how you do shit like this. Do you guys know what RDA is? The US RDA, recommended daily allowance.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Shut up, Adam.
Okay.
So, with that said, what is the US RDA of sugar?
Probably like 65 grams or some bullshit like that a day.
Fun fact, there isn't one. There is
Ah,
no US RDA of sugar.
Because Big Sugar's got him by the fucking nuts,
That
dude.
is the general, no one can prove it, but there is a lot of lobbying going on. In 2000, and I think 3-ish, the American Heart Association did come out with some numbers, and I think the WHO, not the band, but the World Health Organization, did finally push some RDA out. I don't know if the US adopted it or not. I don't think they do, the last time I checked. Um, and it was 37 grams a day. To put that into perspective, a 20-ounce bottle of Coke has like 53, I think. That's a diet Mountain Dew, Adam. So
5 calories, so I'm
yeah,
good.
5 calories. So basically, if you drink a Coke a day, you're pushing the What is that? Is that a root beer? How many grams has it got in it?
43.
43 grams. So drinking that gives you what, the FDA and health officials state that you should be
So what you're saying is
taking.
this could be a meal replacement.
Yes, that root beer could be a meal replacement. It's got all the vitamin
We
root and
might be
all the
on
vitamin beer you need.
it's got what plants crave.
It does have what plants crave. It's also Doug's favorite beverage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Doug loves
I
root beer.
fucking love I'm getting back into it.
Doug loves root beer.
It's good. There's a reason why he loves it. It's
You just
good.
can't get enough of it. Um,
It's like if somebody it's like, this cola doesn't have enough fart in it. I need some fart in my cola. That's what root beer tastes like to me.
Oh, it's
I've never
not
known
actually your
anyone.
favorite.
Yeah, I've never known anyone that didn't like root beer until Doug. We were talking one day, and he's like, "Tastes like somebody didn't think there was enough fart in cola, so they put more fart in it." And they were like, "This is root beer," and I'm like, "Oh."
I could see that with like the vanilla kind of flavor and stuff.
That's great, except
Yeah,
for
I
that
like it.
not your dad's root beer or not your father's root beer or some shit. I think it's a play on dad's, but it's an alcoholic root beer. Fucking awful. Just because you
That
can put
sounds
alcohol
bad.
in something does not mean that you should, right?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I have the reason that I was bringing that up, Doug knows, I've had a lot of problems for about the last 10, 15 years. I've had a lot of problems with inflammation. And you guys know my surgery has been a fucking fiasco with healing. And I started thinking about that, all the issues that I had with inflammation. And I started looking at my diet. And I laughed because my diet had gotten out of fucking control. Um,
Yeah,
I was
Dan's been
just
giving away food. Dan's been the local fucking food bank.
I had Adam up the other day. I said, "Hey man, swing by after work. I got something for you." He swings by and I gave you some pickled eggs and
Yep.
bread. Gave him a loaf of bread. Gave another buddy of ours a couple of 6 packs of different craft beers I had. I had a point where I was in so much pain that I had to try something, and I started thinking about the inflammation. And as I actually sort of have a gauge for my inflammation that Doug very lovingly refers to as pineapple face. And the reason that he calls it pineapple face is that when I eat too much sugar,
I love it.
carbs,
I love the name.
I look as though someone beat me in the face with a pineapple.
From
And if
from the name, it sounds like Dan's face like has like this weird pattern that looks like a
like a
pineapple.
crisscross pattern,
Like,
right?
nope. Looks like
Nope.
someone just beat him in the fucking face with a pineapple.
And for those of you that don't know, pineapple does not, come out of nature in little cubes in a plastic container. Pineapples are they have a very rough skin on the outside, almost like a pine cone with like barbs on it, but not quite, like rose thorn
It's
barbs.
a mix
So
between like a pine cone and an apple cone.
an apple cone. Shut up, Adam. Shut up, Meg. Um, and he's right. It does. When it gets really bad, it turns it's eczema. It's just the skin just gets raw and bleeds. It's fucking awful. It started back in 2013. Had an immunologist tell me, yeah, your levels, and I can't tell you what all the chemicals are now, but she said, your levels, your inflammation is through the roof. And I'm like, why? And she said, that's a damn good question. Food was one of her first thoughts, and I started doing elimination diets, which is just taking a food group completely the fuck out. And all of the things that they know cause inflammation, like dairy, sugar, processed wheat, like bread, stuff like that. All of the ones that they know cause inflammation cause me inflammation. And you would say, well, Dan, why do you eat that stuff? Because it's fucking good. That's why. Because my brain says, I like sugar, I like wheat, I like cheese. And it's fucking impossible nowadays. Not impossible because I'm doing it, but it is fucking difficult to not consume sugar, dairy, or wheat. It just our diets are.
So you told your doctor, you're like, man, I got to stop those toast and milkshake breakfasts.
I did, yeah. You blend
Yeah.
up the toast milkshake with some fucking syrup inside of it. Some log cabin down there in the bottom of it. Excuse me. It's been tough, man, and I've been doing it for about a week. And my surgery pain is, I told Doug yesterday, like 150% better. It's still there. I'm still having some discomfort, but I wouldn't even call it pain. I can exist now without pain. So
That's good.
I mean, I'm not thrilled with this situation, but if it stayed like this, I feel like I'd have a quality of life again. But it just got me into thinking about sugar again and the amount of sugar that we eat. And I started looking up that RDA thing because I had remembered hearing that once before. And, Adam sort of joked about big sugar, but that is a term that people use because if you look at how much money sugar cane farmer, or not the farmers, I shouldn't say that because it's big, organizations now, like everything else. And people are, yeah, but sugar's natural. Well, so is cocaine and cyanide. I mean,
So is scopolamine.
Where it comes from is all natural. Good for, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you. And I'm not indicating or saying that everyone should just like give up sugar, but I would say, watch your intake. And if you are suffering from any kind of an ailment that they can't figure out why, consider dropping sugar for a couple of weeks.
No, see, that doesn't describe me, so I think I'm all right. I can just keep eating it.
As you sip a root beer with your braces on, both hands, trying to bring the root beer up to your mouth. No, they'll figure this out. They got this.
Fine. They'll give me a surgery or something for this.
Yeah, they'll give me antibiotics. And I was watching something about this woman stating that she moved to like Germany or somewhere. Her husband was German. And they moved back to Germany. And she says, man, I was so hesitant to do that, and I think it started with gas prices because like gas over there is like basically $9 a gallon. And that's just sort of like average. They don't think about it. But then again, they don't drive like we do either,
Yeah, they drive at 900 miles an hour.
So they get better gas mileage.
You're not on the road as long.
And she said, I was really hesitant. She said, but since moving over here, she said, I've lost a bunch of weight, a bunch of her allergies or what they thought were allergies cleared up, whatever. And it was TikTok, and it created a bunch of people commenting and stitching and stuff like that they had experienced the same thing, or like they were in the military and they moved over there and the family just became oddly healthier. And they have arguably better healthcare over there in the sense that it's not a fucking arm and a leg to, fix your arm and leg. But yeah, wow. But they were, and the general thought was just diet. And we've got a friend that we work with that was in the military and he was stationed in Germany. And he said, oh yeah. He said, that's true. He said, it is. He said, because one of the things is that they eat a lot fresher over there because you kind of go to the store every day, or you just swing by a market every day and grab whatever it is that you need. You don't buy the weird processed shit that can, live in a cabinet without refrigeration it's like the first time I bought mayonnaise that didn't have to be refrigerated. I was like, this is suspect.
I don't know about this.
This mayo is suspect, which there are those that would argue that mayo is suspect to begin with. So
it is.
The important thing is that Miracle Whip is better than mayonnaise.
Yeah, Dan's trying to trigger me there.
The long silence afterward.
Yep.
He's trying to trigger me into going on to a tirade
about Miracle Whip.
Yeah. But
isn't a tirade like a panty raid in a businessman's house?
Yes, that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
Oh God.
They don't get any better, Doug. You know
tirade.
I know.
They don't get any better.
I know.
What is your nickname for Miracle Whip?
Does it need a nickname other than Satan's semen?
I remember one time you called it Goblin Cum. Yeah. Was how you referred to it.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Doug does not like root beer or Miracle Whip.
And apparently he doesn't like goblin cum either because he's comparing the two.
That's a foregone conclusion. Yeah, that he is not going to spread goblin cum all over his fucking turkey
Well, I mean,
sandwich.
I came to accept the fact that a long time ago that people's taste buds were generally different. Otherwise, things like black licorice wouldn't exist.
Ugh.
Um, See, here's the thing.
Or
It's
pineapple
like,
on pizza.
when it comes to something like cilantro, there's a large division with people and cilantro. A lot of people want to put that in salsas, a bunch of other things, fajitas, the whole nine yards. And to some people, it tastes like what cilantro should taste like, but to some people, it tastes like soap. So whatever it is that makes root beer taste fabulous, I don't fucking have that. Whatever it is that makes root beer taste fabulous, I don't fucking have that. So therefore, I don't like that stuff. Now, there is something to be said for expectation because if somebody, it's like I like chili. There was one day in particular where when I was younger, my mother used to make me things, put it in the refrigerator, and I would heat it up. Well, there was one time she had made me chili, and I had mistaken it as manwich. So, so
Close, but
I, I heated that shit up. I put it on a bun, and when I
oh
bit
no.
into
Your
a
chili
chili
sandwich.
sandwich, it tasted absolutely horrible to me,
Yeah.
even though I like chili.
Yep.
So I'm willing to admit that there may be some of that in there when someone makes me a sandwich and I expect mayonnaise
Mayonnaise.
and they put in Miracle Whip. It's like
Yeah.
your mouth is like, no, this is fucking wrong.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Absolutely. I grew up on Miracle Whip in Ohio, and I don't know, it was it was way more prevalent up there. Like when I married my ex-wife, she was from Mississippi when we got together, and it's Hellman's in the South, like Hellman's mayonnaise, like that's or there may have been a local brand down
Dukes.
there
Yeah,
too.
Duke's is
Dukes.
Dukes.
is big as well, and there's division amongst camps of mayonnaise
Yeah,
enjoyers.
which mayonnaise is best?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she always used mayonnaise and and whatever, and that's what we had around. That's what she bought, and I kind of just became accustomed to it. I don't even know if I could eat Miracle Whip now after eating just regular mayonnaise for years. But when we moved to the South, there were stores, I kid you not, that didn't even carry it. Like you're I don't know if Publix even carried
Like, get
Miracle
that
Whip.
shit out of here.
Pretty much, right? Exactly. So it's interesting to me to see
Well, you
uh,
got this other thing that's trying to masquerade as mayonnaise that's not mayonnaise because it doesn't come in a fucking pickle jar. That's what I'm saying.
and they don't. It's not even called mayonnaise. It's like a sandwich spread, I think
It's
Yeah,
they
a
like
call
Kraft
salad
singles.
dressing. That's
it.
what it
Something-
that's what it. If I remember correctly, that's what it says on the front.
really.
Miracle Whip salad dressing or some shit like that. Let me
Maybe
look
they
it
Yeah.
get
up.
Kraft singles. They don't ever call it. They don't call it cheese
Because it's not cheese.
because it's not cheese. So not saying it's not. Oil's another one. A lot of your weird. I can never keep them straight. The saturated and polysaturated and all that. I, I I don't remember what the difference between all of
The
them is, but
polyamory spread.
polyamory spread. Well, there is if you're never mind. Not even going to go down that road. There's there's most of your popular oils really aren't that good for you. I think it's canola, maybe. Any of your
Yeah, I tried to drink some 10W40 the other day, and
yeah,
goddamn, it did
didn't go
not go
down.
down
Some
smooth.
oil,
Yeah,
some
some of that old.
oil,
Well, you were properly lubricated.
if nothing else, right? And his viscosity, he didn't have to worry about thermal breakdown. So that's always important. Yeah, for Adam, it's not the thermal breakdown that I'm concerned about, actually. So, oh. God, fucking Knuckles.
The crickets have made a return.
Yeah, haven't heard the crickets in a while. Haven't heard the crickets in a while. So,
What are you guys up to?
hanging out, chilling, chilling, you know.
You know
So,
what? I'm sick of
What?
people telling me I need to get married and have a kid, and it's stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
It's fucking dumb. Why would you
don't
do that
get
to yourself?
don't get married, Adam.
Some people were telling me the other day, they're like, "Why aren't you married? Why don't you have a kid?" And I was like, "Because I like having my entire paycheck when I get my direct deposit."
Adam,
Yep,
Adam, don't get married.
I'm not gonna.
Good. Don't.
I'm already not gonna.
Good. Don't.
You telling me we're not
Oh
doing this?
God, yeah, they're having their own internal Family Guy thing for the uneducated.
You telling me not to do it has no bearing on me doing it. I'm already not gonna do it.
Good.
Yeah,
Don't.
well, I mean, it's for me, it's just like if that's not what you want out of life, I mean, because there's a lot of people out there that's what they want out of life.
Yep. Exactly.
And, you know, if it's not for you, I would advise you not to go down that path because if it's not something you wanted to do in the first place, uh, that is a recipe for a mental breakdown, life crisis, shotgun in the mouth. Take your pick.
Yeah, I know. My dad did that, and then he just left. He didn't actually want kids, and then he had them. So
So
I
you're
never.
saying he's still out going for that gallon of milk and pack of cigarettes, huh?
They were like
All
these
right.
these particular people were like, "Oh, you're just a lazy man. You don't want kids." Or I was like, "Yeah, I am lazy." But unlike most lazy people, I'm not going to have 6 or 7 kids and then not take care of them.
Well, and my ex-wife and I kind of had that conversation with someone, and they had the audacity to tell us we were selfish.
Yeah.
They said, "You're selfish." And my ex and I were kind of like, chuckle. Yeah, a little bit, you know.
You're selfish, so you should have kids.
I, and that's where I went. She was very conflict averse. And as you know, I am not. And so I was like,
Yeah,
or
I know.
maybe you're the fucking selfish asshole who wants to procreate and have these little fucking crotch goblins that look like you so you can run around going, look at my kids, look how proud I am of my kids.
Well,
Or you get the psycho female that says, my kids have to love me. And yeah, don't come at me because I have been told that by about 3 different women in my life. I had kids because they have to love me. I'm their mother. Yeah. Let me tell you a very personal story. Um, I think having kids could be considered um, selfish as well. You know, um, don't, like Doug said, if that is not something that interests you. And I know people. Look, we got a buddy that's got 4 kids. He loves being a dad. Right, that's his jam, and he's good at it and he likes doing it. I know other people like that. They love big families. They love having kids and families and doing family stuff. And that was
They're
never,
really a family guy.
oh, he said the thing. He did the thing because yeah. Anyway.
yeah, I would argue that people want you to do what they're doing so they can
Mhm.
justify their own behavior. They're the ones that
Absolutely.
are selfish and they need to go fuck themselves.
That's
If,
exactly what I think. I'm
if
I'm miserable with my wife and kids, so you should go get a wife and kids because then it's the status quo and it's quote unquote normal and everyone's doing it. And you're right. It justifies their actions for them. You know, I I come from a fucked up family, man, and the idea of having kids and passing on what's known as generational trauma, where
Yep.
it's just passed down, fucking parent to kid to parent to kid to parent to kid until you get where you're at. Um, I couldn't imagine having kids. Now I posted a YouTube video. It's been, I don't know, a month or so ago about my stepson from my first marriage. When I met my first wife, she was pregnant with another dude's baby. And, people would say, WTF, Dan. I would say WTF, Dan, now, but 20 years later, I'm like, the fuck were you thinking 25 years later? I was like 21, 22 years old. Thought I was in love, man. And my dad married my mom, and she had 4 kids. And so I guess it just runs in our fucking genetics to pick up other people's pack. And I raised that kid for about 5 years. I was his dad. And then when she was cheating on me, she was physically abusive, and I just had enough of it. And when I told her, I said, "I get out. I can't do this." She hit me. She fucking clocked me one night, knocked my glasses off, and I said, "Get out. I'm not doing this anymore." And she says, "You'll never see, the boy again." And at that moment, filled with rage, I was like, I don't fucking care. Right. Of course, once I cooled off, I started missing him. And she told me, she says, "You'll never see him again." And there's a lot of complicated bullshit if
What a
people are that
cunt.
interested in.
Well, to be
She's
fair,
fucking
I had a
psycho,
kid to
dude.
use him as a weapon.
yeah,
It's not unlikely. That's not uncommon for women to do to men. I've got buddies that have been fighting to see their kids for years. And the irony is you get these women that are like, "Oh, deadbeat dads." And they're out there too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not. But then you see a guy that has spent tens of thousands of dollars over the years, and his entire life is revolved around just trying to fucking see his child. And you get this woman that's just got nothing better to do than use the child against them, you know?
allow me to elaborate, even on a subtle level. Now, this is personal
When I think
experience. This is,
subtle, I think Doug.
yeah, that, um, because I have known people who, when they got divorced, their ex wife did everything that they could to destroy their entire life. I was not
Mm-hmm.
that guy. However, on a more subtle level, my ex wife, when she was going to go somewhere and she decided she wanted to fuck with me that day, what she would do is, because my kid, he had his issues, he has ADHD. And when he was younger, if you wound him up on sugar, he was 3 times as bad. I mean, it was literally just a multiplication factor.
Mm-hmm.
There were times where she would drop him off with a chocolate milk and a chocolate chip cookie for him to eat, knowing that he was going to cause me
Mm-hmm.
problems.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the shitty part about that: she was putting him in a position to where he was going to get in trouble. He
Mm-hmm.
was going to be the one who took the brunt end of, dude, you need to calm the fuck
Yeah, of any
down.
discipline that was doled
And
out, right?
right. And anytime that she could like make me late for something where I was going to take my son, go to some sort of family event, for the first several years, she would run intentionally late, act unconcerned about my time, the whole 9 yards. And, that was from somebody who wasn't that bad comparatively.
Yeah.
So my own child was used as a weapon against me for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And as a father, you had absolutely no tools at your
No.
disposal
Dick all
other
for rights, dude.
than just to suck it up and bear it. And I'm here to tell you, it was torture for me and my kid.
And that's the problem I have with it, right? Is that you're 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 torturing the child more than anybody. You're fucking up this kid's ability to have a healthy, life. And as someone who grew up without a healthy upbringing in life, I know the struggles that I go through, and I am fortunately resilient. Like I've still managed to I mean, statistically speaking, I should be an alcoholic who with a fucking prison record and a couple of illegitimate children, right?
That was
And
under your last name.
that was yeah, right. Shh.
That was under your
Um,
previous name, Adam Daniels.
Adam Daniels. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Just fucking give it up to him. Now the FBI
Sorry.
is going to come knocking. Yeah.
They're the
There's.
ones that changed it.
I've managed to be successful in spite of myself, to some degree, but not everyone gets that gene or whatever that is, and you're not setting a kid up to do well when you do that to them. And I know, man, maybe two or three guys that have full custody of their kids, but I shit you not, in order for that to happen, the moms have got to be convicted of like drug trafficking, uh,
Yeah.
and shit like that, like
They
like
have to murder
very
a politician.
absolutely super fucking serious, uh, not even allegations, but actual prosecutions and like jail time for a guy to get their kids full time. And I've seen where women have been on drug charges and stuff like that, and they still leave the child with the mother, and they just have to have like supervised this, and they have almost like a probation thing. And that's got to change, man. That really needs to change because there's some really really good dads out there that are getting the
The
shit into the
long dick.
stick. The long dick.
They're getting the long dick of the law.
Why is he not feeling my beatings of justice? Yeah, there's it's kind of sad, man, but I chose never to have kids for a lot of reasons, and I think marriage is antiquated as fuck. Um,
Yep.
People are like, "Oh, the tax reasons and all that." Bro, trust me. Filing joint doesn't save you that much in taxes, and then if you get into a situation like I did where your partner winds up starting their own business and failing to pay their taxes for a year. I just got done paying off $35,000 in back taxes because of my ex-wife, right?
You know what
She,
I
she,
think is weird?
what's that?
The government incentivizes you to do stuff that is like considered American, like buying a house and
Mm-hmm.
marrying and having kids. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of fucking weird that you get like government kudos for doing stuff that you
You're
might not
right. It
even want to
is.
do.
It is. It's kind of strange. It's to perpetuate maybe a conservative values, or maybe it's to keep you in debt longer because debt is a prison. That's, kind of the platform I've been standing on for the last couple of years, is getting myself completely out of debt, which I have. I have a car payment and that's it. I have no other debt. Um, People keep telling me in order to like advance in my career, I need to go get a degree. And my answer was, well, then I won't advance. And people think that's insane. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. And I'm not shitting on degrees. If you've got a degree and it has helped you, great. But I remember what my student loans were like. I know my ex-wife will be paying off her, I think she's got a master's or a couple short of a master's. She'll be paying that shit off till she's dead. Nah. And we're talking like $300 a month, dude, from what I remember.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money a month.
Yeah, that's not nothing.
Right. That ain't nothing. Um, I'm not going to go get a degree to make more money
To pay
while
the degree off.
simultaneously putting myself into debt. And again, don't come at me about your degree because I don't care. That's your choice. You do what you want to do. But at the same time, I see on Reddit and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, all these 30 somethings with bachelor's degrees and even master's degrees in their 30s moving back in with their parents because they can't afford to do it, right? But meanwhile, we supposedly can't find enough truck drivers, welders, carpenters, plumbers,
Electricians.
Yeah,
Electricians make like people don't
they make good
understand.
money.
Electricians make a lot of fucking money.
They make good money. Yeah.
And
And
you can
I
go
think,
to school, and if you're broke enough, you can go for free
yeah,
and get
absolutely.
your electrician's license.
Well, hell, my nephew um, he passed away when he was killed 20 years ago now. Fuck, 15. I don't even know. I've lost track of time. It's an ADD thing. Um, he got out of high school, and I think he did 2 years of trade school after that because he went to trade school in high school, like vocational school. Then I think he did 2 years. And when he got out, he got picked up. There were bidding wars, and he got picked up to go wire up airport control towers. Think about the wiring in an airport control tower. My ADD just fucking gagged a little
He
trying to
wired the
think of.
secret basement under the Denver airport.
He did exactly. Um, there's money to be had there, and I told you guys the story about I did really bad in school. Fuck, I've got a GED. I don't have a college degree. I have a GED, and there's they wanted me to go to this place called Scarlet Oaks in Cincinnati, and it's a vocational school. And like I was offended because that's where all the potheads and dropouts and just quote unquote losers went, right? And I didn't go. Well, now all of those potheads and dropouts and losers, when I see them on Facebook, are in $500,000 homes and have investments and boats and businesses and
It's amazing what you can do with no debt.
yeah, exactly. They got out, they had a trade that not everyone can do. They do the thing, they get paid well for it. The better they do the thing, the more money they can ask for it. I mean, look, now software development is kind of that niche and networking, right? Where if you're good at it, there's no shortage of jobs. There are people, oh, you don't take your job seriously. Well, some of these motherfuckers don't have to, because they know if they sneeze, they got 3 people at their door going, we'll give you 40 grand more and a car, But then there's things that you have to have a degree for. Pharmacy. I used to jam in a band with a guy. He was a pharmacist. Go over to his house. He's 26, 28 years old. He was younger than I was. He's got 2 Beamers sitting in his beautiful fucking garage in his beautiful fucking house.
And he can get you all the lean that you want.
Yes, he was probably also peddling Xanax on the side, right?
Yeah, see? You get paid 2 ways.
But the BMWs were...
I would advise against that. The
Sorry.
FDA keeps track of things.
I mean, I wouldn't condone that, but it can be done. That's what I meant to say.
Both of his cars were gifts from the farm. Like when you sign up, it is not uncommon. It's actually commonplace when you are getting a job as a pharmacist somewhere. You have your salary, and then you choose between like a BMW and a Mercedes. That's very, very common. I don't know why in the pharmacy world that's a common thing, but you can look that up. He had 2 BMWs from it.
Allow me to elaborate.
No. But you can do it anyway.
Well, here's the thing. A pharmacist goes to school for just as long as a doctor does.
Yep. Yeah, they do.
Because you go to just regular college, you get your bachelor's degree, and then you go into the pharmacy program, and then you've got a residency and the whole 9 yards. So while it not may necessarily be quite as stringent as being a doctor, which there are many pharmacists that go on to medical school and to become a doctor, that way they can be a Pharm D. And when they're a Pharm D, that's when the really big bucks roll out.
Yeah.
But it is a long, long, long educational commitment. It can be up to 12 years.
And you should always, I had a pharmacist once, doctor had prescribed something, and when I went to pick it up, we got to talking a little bit, and he found out that I was on something else or whatever, and he was like, you cannot have this. And no. And he called the doctor's office, and you could hear him in the back getting a little bit saucy.
He's like, look here, bitch. Why'd
Pretty much, dude. He was getting a little frustrated. And he's like, he can't take this. He's on such and such. I think it was back when I was on the antidepressants. And they were like, he can't. They're like, he's like, no. So, and they wound up prescribing something else. But it was interesting. And I've since then learned that, you should always trust your pharmacist over your doctor when it comes to prescription what do they call that? Interactions and stuff like that. Always trust your pharmacist, And the kid, the dude, he was a hoot, man. He was, like I said, he was 26, had this giant house, had this big living room with vaulted ceilings, and he used it as a recording studio. He had a big, beautiful drum kit in there and had all this high-end recording shit. So he is a cool dude. But Yeah, stuff like that, or a doctor, right? I understand why they have to go to school and they do all the long,
Yeah. There's a
education and
few
all that.
professions that you definitely should get a degree for, but
Absolutely.
I feel like 90% of the shit that you would ever want to do, you don't need a degree for.
On the job training is probably, in my opinion, always going to be superior in most trades. I don't think you need to go to school to be a carpenter. I think you need to get out there with good carpenters and be taught the right way to do things. Now, trade school, to learn rules and regulations and best practices and things like that, absolutely. But the college is it's an industry, so don't
We
get
really live in a
degrees.
society, huh?
Yeah, good old society.